Discover how a heartwarming call from a black cleaner led to an unexpected life-changing rescue. Jake stood at the office sink, the dull clinking of dishes echoing around him like a countdown to exhaustion. Water splashed against his worn-out shoes, and for a fleeting moment, he thought about his daughter Emma, her laughter, her dreams. She wanted the stage, she longed for the spotlight that made her eyes sparkle like diamonds. But as the soapy water turned murky, he felt the weight of reality crushing those dreams: heavy bills, long work hours, an increasingly distant relationship. At 35, he was a shell of the man he wished to be. As he scrubbed at the stubborn grime, the phone suddenly buzzed in his pocket. He didn't recognize the number, but he answered anyway, thinking it might be a call from his part-time job or a bill collector. Instead, it was Jasmine, a fellow cleaner from the building. He had seen her, silently working away with an unshakable spirit. Her voice carried warmth and a hint of excitement. "Jake. Have you heard about the community center's scholarship? Your daughter has talent. I believe she could really shine." As she spoke about the opportunities, Jake felt a flicker of hope igniting within him, but skepticism sank in quickly too. "What can a cleaner do for us?" he thought, unwilling to admit her genuine enthusiasm stirred something deep inside. But Jasmine's passion for the arts and her unwavering belief in Emma struck a chord. "Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen." Now let's continue. With her help, they started working on Emma's application. Late nights turned into laughter-filled sessions, drafting, rewriting, and pouring heart into words. Jasmine shared her own experiences: battles fought in classrooms, long nights of cleaning, fears faced quietly. She opened a window into her world, and Jake began to see the stigma fade in the warmth of shared dreams. But as the application prepared to launch them into a future filled with promise, the ground beneath Jake shifted. A family emergency with his estranged mother called him away. Panic hugged him like a vice. Thoughts raced. What would happen to Emma's dream now? He felt like he was letting everyone down again. Meanwhile, Jasmine, rooted with strength and determination, knew she had to step up. A fire lit beneath her as she fought to keep the promise alive that they had forged together. The community began to notice her bravery, witnessing a quiet revolution unfold: a cleaner holding the world together while her own life was filled with challenges. But just as Jasmine pushed forward, Jake returned home to a storm he hadn't anticipated: his mother, judgmental and critical, standing at his doorstep armed with her heavy opinions. "This isn't how you help Emma," she argued, pushing all the buttons Jake thought he had locked away. The past clawed at him, and every word cut deep. In that powerful moment, as words swirled and doubt threatened to drown him, Jake stood at a crossroads. Could he embrace the help from Jasmine and the community surrounding him? Or would he let old fears and pride shatter the fragile thread of hope woven for Emma? The tension hung in the air, electric and raw, leaving not only Jake but the entire community waiting, hearts pounding with anticipation. Would they find a way forward? Jake stood frozen at the door, every muscle taut with emotion. His mother's voice rang in his ears, a cacophony of regret and bitterness. "You can't keep hiding from your responsibilities, Jake. Emma needs more than you can give." He swallowed hard, the accusation a bitter pill. He glanced behind him where the remnants of hope: Jasmine, her unwavering spirit, and Emma's dreams beckoned. But could he rally that hope against the shadow of his past? "Mom, I'm trying," he managed to say, his voice barely above a whisper. He could feel the heat of unshed tears threatening to break free. I'm doing my best." "Your best isn't enough." She stepped closer, her eyes blazing with a fire that had long simmered. "You've always chosen the easy way out. Why can't you just step up?" And there it was. The voice of a lifetime of disappointment echoing back at him. He clenched his fists and took a deep breath. That's not fair. The silence hung between them. It felt thick, suffocating. Memories of his childhood rolled through his mind, times when he had tried to win her approval, each effort met with a critique or dismissal. Were those memories still defining him? He took a step back, reminding himself of Jasmine and the laughter-filled nights they shared. The community center, the scholarship, Emma's dreams, they flashed before his eyes like a beacon. Emma has a chance to break free, he said finally, the words tinged with defiance as he stepped just outside of what felt like an emotional prison. And I will not let anything or anyone take that away from her. His mother scoffed. You think one application is going to change anything? You think you can suddenly be a good father? That was a blow. One he had expected, but even so, it made his heart ache. You don't understand. Jasmine believes in her, and that belief has opened doors. Jasmine? Yes. Jake's voice grew stronger as he felt the tide shift. Jasmine. She's instilled hope in me, in Emma. Everyone deserves a chance. He turned away from her piercing gaze and looked up towards the clouded sky, making nightly transitions from daylight. It had to clear for Emma to shine. For him, too. Let her dream, Mom. She deserves more than what I had, he said softly, hoping sincerity seeped through the anger-edged walls. Maybe, just maybe, his mother would see through his eyes. And you expect a cleaner to change everything? Her voice dripped with disbelief, but he could see it then, Jasmine was more than a cleaner. She was a voice for the voiceless. She was a force, a guide, rallying the community around something bigger than themselves. Yes. The conviction in Jake's heart was surprisingly strong. She is exactly what Emma needs right now. He turned back, ready to lay down his own pride alongside old resentments. Maybe it wouldn't be easy, but fighting for Emma was worth it. For the first time in years, his thoughts shifted from survival toward possibility. I need to get back. I need to help my daughter. He gestured toward his mother, willing her to see what he finally could. I can't let my past hold us back. As the words settled in the air like a promise, he turned on his heels, heading back to the warmth of possibility. The door closed behind him, but he carried that weight from within, towards brightness. Back at the community center, Jasmine was filling the room. She was rallying support, her passion lighting a fire in others. The air crackled with hope. Jake! You're back. She rushed to him, her smile brimming with joy. But just as he opened his mouth to share his newfound resolve, his phone buzzed again, pulling his attention. It had to be Emma. Hurry up, let us do this together. But when Jake looked down, dread filled him. A message. The scholarship deadline was approaching faster than expected. Jasmine, we might not have enough time. What if? The tone shifted, tension creeping back as they each processed the reality ahead. Would they chase down the clock or succumb to doubt? Had the time run out on Emma's dreams before they even began? Jake felt the air thicken with uncertainty as he stared at his phone, the message blinking mockingly at him. His heart raced, each beat quickening, the fear gnawing at his insides. Jasmine's joyful smile faded as her eyes landed on his tense expression. What's wrong? She asked, a hint of worry dancing across her features. It's the scholarship, it's due in less than a week, Jake replied, his voice strained. And I thought we had more time. What if Emma doesn't get this chance? Jasmine took a step closer, her determination evident. We will figure it out. It's not over yet. How much time do we have left? Not much, he admitted, rubbing the back of his neck nervously. The application is long, and we need to gather everything: letters of recommendation, essays. Can we pull this together in time? What if I let her down? Hey, Jasmine's voice softened, you're not letting her down. This is all part of the process. It's messy, it's stressful, but look how far you've come. You're not the same person you were before. The warmth of her words clung to him like a blanket. Just a few hours ago, it had felt like he was drowning in regrets. But now, they were standing on the precipice of something vital, something that could break the cycle of disappointment and ignite Emma's future. Okay, let us get to work, he said, determination warming his voice. They began to gather materials, flipping through Emma's schoolwork and her dreams laid out in scribbled notes. Each paper was a small piece of who Emma was, vibrant and full of potential. Jake's heart cracked open a little wider with each word they read. He envisioned Emma in a cap and gown, throwing her arms wide and embracing the world. As they pored over essays and brainstormed, Jasmine surprised him again. What if we even included her community service? It shows her commitment. It's all part of the bigger picture. Great idea. Jake smiled, excitement bubbling up inside him. But I need to ask Emma if she's okay with it. It's her life, and she should be the one to decide what to share. Absolutely. Let us call her, Jasmine agreed, but as Jake dialed, a lump formed in his throat again. Would Emma even want to talk after the rocky morning they had? The phone rang, and he held his breath, hoping she would pick up. Hey, Dad. Emma's bright voice came through. What's up? Hey, sweetheart, he said, attempting to keep the panic out of his voice. I know earlier was rough, but Jasmine and I are working on the scholarship application. I wanted to check if you're okay with us including your volunteer work. Really? You're working on it? That's awesome. She sounded genuinely excited, and Jake felt the weight on his heart lift slightly. Of course, I want that included. I want them to see what I care about. As they chatted, Jake marveled at how quickly the tension faded. Emma's enthusiasm was infectious, igniting his own spirit. They discussed all her projects and dreams for the future, like shimmering stars in his mind, but just as they began to relax, a sudden thought interrupted his elation. Emma, can you think of what you want to write about your future goals? That's a big part of the application. There was a pause on the other end before Emma answered hesitantly, I am not really sure. I wish I had more time to think about it. Jake felt a twist of urgency in his stomach. We can figure it out together. You don't have to do this alone. Just think of what matters most to you. What if I fail? Emma's voice trembled slightly. Failure isn't the end, sweet girl. It's a stepping stone. And we'll be right here with you, every step of the way, Jake promised, his voice full of conviction. As their conversation drew to a close, a sense of purpose surged within him. They wouldn't let anything stand in the way of Emma's dreams, not now, not ever. With the excitement of a plan set in motion, he turned back to Jasmine, who was eagerly waiting for his next move. Let us make this happen, he grinned, inspired by Emma's spirit. But deep down, Jake couldn't shake the feeling that time was slipping through their fingers like sand. Little did he know, a surprise was waiting just around the corner, one that could change everything again. Would it bring hope or further chaos? As Jake and Jasmine settled into a rhythm of gathering materials, the clattering of papers filled the air, mingling with their excited chatter. A sense of urgency pushed them forward, fueled by Emma's hopeful voice still echoing in Jake's mind. Every detail mattered now, every word chosen had to convey Emma's journey, her heart, and her unyielding spirit. Just then, the doorbell rang, jolting Jake from his thoughts. He exchanged a puzzled glance with Jasmine. I wasn't expecting anyone, he said, rising from his seat. He opened the door to find Mrs. Carter, their friendly neighborhood cleaner, standing there with a bright smile. She wore an apron, her hands still soapy from work. Jake's heart warmed at the sight of her familiar face. Hi, Jake. She said, her tone bubbly. I know you're busy, but I had a moment and thought I'd drop by. I brought some cookies for you and Emma, an energy boost. Jake felt his heart flutter with gratitude as he stepped aside to let her in. That's so thoughtful of you, Mrs. Carter. Thank you. Your girl called me earlier, she said, glancing back at Jake with curious eyes. She seems really excited, and I thought I would be cheering her on through a little treat. She is, Jake replied, feeling a little of the weight lift off his shoulders just looking at her. We're working on her scholarship application right now. Mrs. Carter nodded knowingly. Those applications can be a lot to juggle. But believe me, I saw Emma volunteer at the community center last week. She's got so much heart, Jake. She's going places. Thanks for saying that, he said, his heart swelling. We're trying to showcase that in the application. With cookies now on the table, all three settled into the kitchen. Jasmine, intrigued by Mrs. Carter's positivity, dared to ask, "What's the biggest lesson you've learned through your work, Mrs. Carter?" The older woman chuckled softly, brushing her hands together. "Oh, honey, life is full of surprises. Sometimes, the ones you least expect can teach you the most. I've had my share of ups and downs, but every encounter has left a mark." "That's powerful," Jasmine said, her eyes lighting up. "I think Emma needs to include something like that in her essay. Real stories, they connect us. Maybe a quote or something." "Exactly." Jake nodded. "Like how personal experiences shape our dreams." Mrs. Carter smiled knowingly. "You could also write about courage. The courage to pursue what you really want, despite obstacles. That's what makes a real story, isn't it?" An idea sparked in Jake's mind. Emma could intertwine her community service stories with her dreams and fears. It wasn't just about her accomplishments, it was about her journey, the struggles, the heart that as they talked, Mrs. Carter shared her own story from her younger years. She spoke of perseverance through hard times and the fierce determination that helped her build a better life. With each word, their intentions became clearer. The tales shared formed a bond, not just among the three of them but also tied to Emma's path. They could frame the essay in a way that touched the hearts of the scholarship reviewers. Glimmers of hope danced in Jake's heart as he realized how everyone rallied for Emma. But just as excitement filled the room, Jake's phone buzzed on the kitchen counter, tearing him from the warmth of their conversation. He glanced down and saw a message that made his breath hitch in his throat. "Dad," he read aloud, "I need to talk to you. It's important." Panic surged through him again as he exchanged a worried look with Jasmine and Mrs. Carter. Something felt off. What could she possibly need now? He whispered, his mind racing. They had come so far, but was a storm brewing just outside the door? Jake's heart thudded wildly as he realized they were still not out of the woods yet. Jake's fingers hovered over his phone as that single message replayed in his mind. "I need to talk to you," echoed like a drumbeat, shaking the calm of the kitchen. Jasmine noticed the shift in his expression, her eyes wide with concern. "Jake, what is it?" she asked softly, her voice barely breaking the silence. "It's just I don't know. I haven't heard from her in days. I thought things were okay." The words tumbled from him, heavy with uncertainty. Mrs. Carter, who had been cheerfully nibbling on a cookie, looked up, concern etching her features. "You want to talk about it, dear? Sometimes sharing lightens the load." Jake took a deep breath, the tension knotting in his shoulders. "It's my mom. She's been distant, and now this. It feels like a crack forming." A shadow of understanding crossed Mrs. Carter's face. "Family can sometimes have ups and downs, but I believe in open hearts and honest conversations. Have you tried reaching out to her?" "I texted her last week, but she didn't respond," he admitted, running a hand through his hair in frustration. "It was unnerving when the person who raised you, who taught you how to face the world, suddenly felt like a stranger." Jasmine leaned forward, her brow furrowing. "Maybe something's weighing on her too, Jake. It's not always about us, you know." Jake nodded, but doubt still gnawed at him. "I thought we were getting there. But, this just makes me think maybe she needs something I can't give her." Mrs. Carter interjected with gentle authority. "You have a good heart, Jake. It's clear you care. Sometimes, just letting someone know that you're there can change everything." don't be afraid to reach out again. Jake's mind raced, envisioning the conversation ahead, the words he wanted to say, the fears he needed to express. But what would it mean if he opened that door to his mother's struggles? Yeah, you're right, he finally said, the resolve hardening in his chest. Maybe I just need to ask her what she's feeling. Show her that I'm here. Just as he was sliding his phone back into his pocket, Mrs. Carter's voice chimed in once more. And while you do that, you need to lift up Emma's voice too. It's a balance. You can embrace both your own journey and hers. Jake looked at her, the warmth of her words enveloping him like a hug. You're right. Emma's application is important. I wouldn't be a good dad if I let my worries get in the way of supporting her. Jasmine smiled, her energy returning. Exactly. Let us focus on Emma and channel all this into her story. We can do it together. Mrs. Carter beamed at the two of them, her smile reflecting pride. Yes. Let us remind the world of her light. Show them her heart. The trio leaned in, immersed in the task ahead as notes and ideas started to fly around the table. But underneath it all, Jake felt the tide of uncertainty still swirling about his own family, a storm yet to unravel. Suddenly, his phone buzzed again, vibrating against the countertop. Jake hesitated before glancing down. It's her, it's another message. The room held its breath, and Jake's heart raced, pounding against his ribs. Was this the moment he had been dreading or hoping for? He opened the message, eyes scanning the screen, and froze. A rush of emotions cascaded over him like a wave, leaving him breathless. Jake, I need you to know something very important. What could she be about to share? What revelation could change everything? Curiosity and fear collided inside him as he prepared to dive deeper. Jake's pulse quickened as he read the rest of the message, struggling to absorb its weight. His mother's words unfolded before him like a map to a place he didn't know he had lost. I've been dealing with my own feelings lately, and I'm sorry for shutting you out. Starting with an apology, it seemed the floodgates were finally opening. Jasmine and Mrs. Carter leaned in closer, their ears tuned to the sudden change in his demeanor, a mixture of hope and worry dancing across their faces. It's not just you, Jake, the message continued. I've been scared to reach out. I feel like I've lost my way, and I need your help to find it again. Wow, he murmured, shaking his head as if trying to physically shake off the gravity of the words. He glanced up at Jasmine, who encouraged him with an earnest nod. This is good, she whispered, her voice infused with anticipation. Good? Jake echoed bitterly, his brow furrowed. How can it be good? She's been distant, and now she's saying she's lost. Mrs. Carter placed a reassuring hand on his shoulder. Sometimes in darkness, we find the light. This might be the chance for both of you to reconnect. You can be her light, just as she has been yours. With his heart racing, Jake reassured himself. Okay, he said slowly, contemplating the message's impact. He was aware that reconnecting might open old wounds or force them to confront uncomfortable truths. The kitchen felt suddenly smaller, the air thick with unspoken words. What if I don't know what to say? He confessed. Just be honest, Jasmine urged, her eyes sparkling with conviction. Tell her you care. Ask her what she needs. You can do this together. It doesn't have to be perfect. He breathed in deeply. The thought of reaching out, of having a raw conversation with his mom, felt daunting. A part of him was terrified that their relationship could be irrevocably changed. Yet another part he hadn't recognized in a long time begged to hope. Hope that this could be a turning point for both of them. All right, he said, steeling himself. I'll call her. Right now. As he stood up, the gravity of the moment struck him fully. His heart thudded loudly in his chest, drowning out the surroundings. Wait, Mrs. Carter interjected gently. Before you do, take a moment. Just breathe. You're about to step into a vulnerable place, and it's okay to feel that. Jake nodded, allowing her advice to settle in. He closed his eyes for a brief moment, picturing his mother's voice, her laughter, the tenderness that had built the foundation of their relationship. Finally, he reached for the phone again, his fingers trembling slightly. He pulled up her contact and stared at the name. What if this goes south? He thought, but quickly pushed the thought aside. He had to try. For her. For him. Here goes nothing, he whispered as he hit the call button and brought the phone to his ear, his heart hanging in the balance. The line connected, and he heard the faint ring on the other end. Come on, Mom. The seconds felt like years, stretching into an eternity. Then he heard her voice, unsure yet familiar. Jake. Just hearing her made the dam inside him crack, emotions rushed to fill that space, and he barely managed to speak. Hi, Mom. I got your message. Hope and uncertainty tangled together as he ventured into this uncharted territory. How would she respond? Mama, where do we go from here? The question hung in the air, charged with potential as he awaited her answer, praying it would be the bridge between them that he so desperately needed. Jake. His mother's voice sounded fragile, a little cracked at the edges, like an old vinyl record. I didn't expect you to call so soon. He swallowed hard, feeling the weight of his own words against the backdrop of silence that followed. I got your message, Mom. I want to talk, you know. Just where do we start? Starting is always the hardest part, she replied, a faint tremor in her voice. I didn't know how to reach out to you, or even if you wanted to hear from me. Her words hit Jake like a wave. He had felt the silence, the distance, their gap widening over time. I've missed you, he admitted, the weight of honesty crashing onto the shore of their shared past. I thought maybe I'd lost you for good. There was a long pause, and he could almost hear her breath catching, weighing the unseen emotions on the line. I've been so lost, she finally said, her voice a mixture of sorrow and relief. So focused on my own struggles that I shut you out. I'm sorry. I just want to understand, Jake replied, feeling the hope flicker in his chest. What is going on, Mom? What do you mean by lost? I've been dealing with so much, she said, her voice thickening. Your father and we tried to keep it together, but everything fell apart. I thought if I ignored it, it would go away. Instead, it just ate at me. Jake clenched his jaw. His past was more complex than he had been ready to recognize. I felt that, you know. I've been dealing with it too. I thought it was just me, like I was somehow to blame for everything falling apart. No, Jake, listen, she whispered urgently, desperation lacing her words. None of this is your fault. We both need to find our way back to each other, to make sense of this together. I don't want to lose you. His heart soared and sank at the same time as he recognized the depth of her fear mirrored his own. I want to help, but I'm scared. Scared that things will change, that his voice faltered. That I won't know how to be there for you. Tears stung his eyes as the air between them felt charged with vulnerability. We will figure it out together, she affirmed, conviction strengthening her words. I know I have a lot to work on, and I need you too. Jake took a deep breath. The openness of their conversation laid bare the truth their bond still had potential. What do you need from me? He asked softly, feeling the shift in their relationship. I just need you to be honest with me, like you are now. Let us not hide anymore. We owe it to ourselves and to each other, she replied. The room around Jake faded, and all he could focus on was the voice that had filled his childhood with warmth. Okay, he said. Let us promise to do this. I want to hear everything, even the hard stuff. No more walls. Yes, please. I want to tell you everything, she whispered, her voice breaking yet filled with determination. As they continued to talk, moments of laughter punctuated the deep emotions, creating a space where healing could begin. Jake felt lighter, like shackles had been removed. The call stretched, simmering with the potential of their renewed connection, but just when Jake thought they were making progress, the line suddenly went silent. He felt a shiver run down his spine. "Mom? Are you there?" Panic gripped him as he checked his phone. The call had dropped unexpectedly, leaving him hanging in uncertainty. Would she try to call back? Would he have the chance to finish this transformative conversation? The prospect of a fresh start hung tantalizingly in the air as he waited for an answer, both anxious and hopeful. Jake's heart raced as he stared at the screen, willing it to light up again. Each second felt like an eternity. Why hadn't she called back? Had something gone wrong? Anxiety knotted his stomach, twisting tighter with every passing moment. Slowly, he tried to calm himself, taking deep breaths like he'd learned in therapy long ago. Just then, the familiar chime of an incoming call broke through the oppressive silence. He lunged for his phone, excitement flooding his veins. "Mom?" He answered, his voice strained with hope. "Jake." Her voice was a quiet tremor, almost overwhelmed with emotion. "I'm so sorry. My phone it shut off." Relief washed over him, a wave pulling him back to safety. "It's okay. I was worried." They both breathed, reconnecting in the fragile space where their hearts had been left hanging. "Let us keep talking," she urged, urgency illuminating her words. "I want to share everything with you." "All right," he replied, emboldened by the renewed connection. "Tell me what you mean by lost, Mom." There was a pause again, a hesitant space where unspoken truths lingered. "There's so much I regret. I thought leaving your father would free me, but instead, it trapped me in my own fears. I thought keeping you at a distance was the right thing to do and it wasn't." Jake listened, feeling every word. "I can't imagine what that's been like for you. I wish things had gone differently." "Me too," she sighed, her voice heavier now with shared burdens. "But I can't keep running from it. I need to be real, not just for me, but for you. I want us to heal." He felt the sincerity in her tone, and it swept through him. What if there's too much to fix? What if it's too late? Her reply came resolutely, "It's never too late. As long as we're still breathing, we have time to mend things." Jake bit his lip, emotion rising within. "I want to believe that. I really do." But he hesitated, then pressed on, "What if I can't be the son you need? What if I'm just as broken?" "Being broken doesn't mean we can't be whole together," she insisted, her voice steady, linking them in a way Jake hadn't anticipated. "We just need to rebuild, piece by piece." He sensed a shift within himself, something subtle yet profound. "I want that. I want you to see me, all of me, not just the good parts. The times I've failed or messed up. The times I wasn't there for you." Her breath hitched at his honesty. "It starts with this moment, Jake. Just talking. Being real. It's okay to say you're scared. I am too. But together, we're less scared." The conversation unfolded, layers peeling away to reveal deeper truths. They talked about love lost, bitterness held tight, and the beauty of simply being seen. Laughter mixed with tears, a tapestry of emotions that wove their hearts closer together. But just as he felt the warmth of understanding deepening between them, he heard a knock on the door. "Hang on a second, Mom," he said, puzzled. He stood, setting the phone aside, but not before hearing her voice tremble once more. "Jake. Don't go." His heart dropped, yet the presence at the door pulled him away. He opened it to find Mr. Garza, the elderly neighbor who always saved a smile for Jake, standing there with a draped bundle in his arms. "I just wanted to check on you, son. I saw the lights were on." Jake felt the sudden rush of uncertainty. "I'm okay, I was just talking to my mom." "Oh, that's great to hear. I hope she's doing well," Mr. Garza said, his voice warm. Yet, Jake could sense something more, a weight that lingered around him. Thanks," Jake said, glancing back at his phone which lay on the table, its screen still lit. "Listen, I really should." Before he could finish, Mr. Garza stepped closer, lowering his voice. You know, son, sometimes we think we're fixing everything. But it takes a great deal of courage to allow someone to help you, too. Jake's heart pounded as he met the man's steady gaze. That simple statement hung in the air before him, echoing the conversation he'd just had. A realization struck him. Maybe, just maybe, he had set out on a journey not just to reconnect with his mother, but to discover his own ability to accept support. As he closed the door behind Mr. Garza, he turned back to his phone. Mom. He called softly, hoping she was still there, still waiting. Could they truly navigate this path together, into the unknown? He held his breath, ready to dive back into the uncharted territory of their relationship. But the next voice he heard wasn't his mother's. It was a stranger. And it changed everything. Jake's heart seized, pulse racing as he heard the unfamiliar voice crackle through the receiver. It was a woman, her tone laced with urgency. Is this Jake? I'm Amelia. I work for your mom, and she needs help. His mind whirled. What do you mean? Is she okay? Where is calm down? She's safe for now, but she had a fall at the park. She's been taken to the hospital. A heavy weight settled in Jake's chest, squeezing the air from his lungs. What? How bad is it? Not critical, Amelia said, her voice softening. She just needs someone. I was cleaning her house when she didn't come home. I got worried when I found her bag by the door and called for help. His breath quickened, shifting between worry and anxiety. What should I do? Head over to Bridgewater Medical. I'll meet you there. Just get there as fast as you can. With a shaky hand, he hung up. His feet felt stuck for a moment, planted on the ground as if unsure of their next step. Finally, he dashed out of the house, adrenaline igniting every nerve. The world outside was a blur. Cars rushed past him, trees swayed in a frantic dance, and his heart thudded loudly in his chest, drowning out everything else. As he drove, he replayed fragments of the conversation with his mother in his mind, the laughter, the openness. He thought of her openness, of the way they had started to bridge the chasm that had long divided them. It felt like they had just started to build something beautiful, and now no, he pushed that thought away. She was alive. He focused on the road ahead, hoping that healing was still possible, even if it would come with fresh pain. When he arrived at the hospital, everything felt surreal. He could feel the weight of worry on his shoulders. The sterile scent of antiseptic mixed with the fear of uncertainty hung heavily in the air. Amelia? He called out, scanning the waiting area for any sign of her. Jake? A voice from his right caught his attention, and he turned to see a tall woman waving at him. She rushed over, a hint of urgency and concern in her eyes. I'm so glad you made it. Where's my mom? Panic surged within him, the hospital's sterile light feeling unbearably bright. She's in getting treated now. They're just assessing her injuries. It wasn't anything major, just a sprained wrist. Amelia paused, noticing the sharp breath he let out. I think she'll be okay. Relief mingled with residual fear as Jake's shoulders relaxed slightly. Can I see her? Soon. Just wait a little longer. They settled into the uncomfortable chairs, the silence stretching between them. Jake felt tears burning in his eyes, the vulnerability of the recent moments catching up with him. Thank you for being there for her. I don't know what I'd do without. Amelia waved her hand dismissively. It's what friends are for, and sometimes, we all need someone else to step in. Her words echoed in the air, wrapping around him like a warm embrace. In that moment, Jake understood what it meant to be vulnerable, not just with his mom, but with others too. This journey of healing wouldn't be one he had to walk alone. Suddenly, a nurse appeared, calling his name. Mr. Jake, your mother is ready to see you now. His heart leaped into his throat as he stood up, feet moving quickly toward the door, uncertainty and hope swirling within him. This was not just a chance to see his mom, it would be another step in the long, winding path of their relationship. As he opened the door to her room, he felt a tremor of courage surging through him. This wasn't just about seeing her, it was about embracing the opportunity to heal together if they could find their way back to each other. He paused before stepping in, one breath away from everything changing again. What would she say? What had she thought about during her fall? Would their conversation resurface in this new light? Before he could gather his thoughts, he pushed the door open. The air inside felt warm, inviting him in. But as he took that first step, he had no idea how the unexpected truth that lay ahead would reshape everything. Jake stepped into the hospital room, heart racing, emotions churning. His mother lay in the hospital bed, bandaged wrist propped up on a pillow, eyes wide with anxiety and untold stories. "Mom." His voice was filled with both fear and hope. As she turned her gaze toward him, a mix of relief and warmth thawed the tension in the air. "Jake," she whispered, a quiver in her voice. "I didn't expect you to come." "I couldn't stay away," he said, moving closer, feeling the pull of a bond that had weathered so much. "Amelia said you were okay." "I was scared." Her gaze softened, guilt flickering at the edges. "I'm sorry you had to worry." "I didn't mean for any of this things happen, Mom." "Life's messy," he replied, the words tasting like freedom. It felt right to share the weight of their reality now, peeled back like a fragile layer of skin. He took a deep breath, ready to dive into the conversation they had begun before everything fell apart. "But that just means we need to talk more, understand each other better." "In the mess." She nodded slowly, her emotions spilling over her features. "You're right. I've been so focused on my own issues. I didn't realize I was pushing away the one person I needed." "Me too," Jake admitted. "I thought pushing back was the way to prepare for losing you, but it only made everything worse." A wave of vulnerability swelled between them, a bridge made from their raw honesty. Jake took a seat beside her bed, desperate to ensure they wouldn't lose this moment again. "After you fell, I didn't just worry about you. I worried that we had lost our chance to heal. Jake, I'm so grateful you're here now. I need to let you know that our relationship matters more than my pride. I'm scared, yes. But I want us to figure it out. Together. I want us to share our fears." "I want that, too," he said, finding strength in shared intentions. "This is our chance to rebuild, not just walls, but closeness." As they talked, the clock in the corner ticked softly, reminding them that time was still precious and fleeting. Each moment spent navigating their fears was bringing them closer to a deeper understanding. "Do you know," she said, her voice steadying, "when you were born, I felt like I was given a second chance at life. I thought being strong meant keeping you at arm's length from my own pain." The sincerity in her words sent another wave through him. "Mom, being strong doesn't mean shutting doors. It means standing by each other even in the hard conversations. Just like I'm trying to do with Emma. I've been so caught up in my own struggles that I lost sight of that," she breathed, and he could see her processing, transforming in this moment. "I realize now how important it is for both of us to share our truth, our joys, our fears." The words flowed freely now, the laughter, the tears, the memories. They poured out all the moments held back by walls of hurt and misunderstanding. It felt lighter, as if the air in the room had shifted, cleansing the heaviness that had lingered for too long. Their conversation turned toward Emma, his daughter, the bright light they both cherished. "I was scared to talk about her dreams," Jake admitted. "I wanted to protect her from my disappointments. But I've realized that she deserves to dream big." "She will if she knows you're rooting for her," his mom replied, her eyes sparkling. "Be there for her. Share your heart. Children thrive when they feel supported." "I plan to," Jake said, warmth blossoming within him. "I'm learning to be better, thanks to you. Thanks to Jasmine and the community rallying around us. We really can change our stories, can't we? For so long, I thought family meant having it all together," she sighed, but slaying your own dragons means letting others in to help fight them with you. The door creaked open, and Amelia peeked in, her demeanor relaxed. I didn't mean to interrupt, just wanted to check in. Is everything all right? More than all right, Jake said, beaming, looking from his mother to Amelia and back. We're healing. As Amelia smiled, he felt a sense of belonging stitch itself in the silence and the breaths they shared. Life would never be perfect, but the beauty was in the connections, the enthusiasm, the vulnerability, the determination to push through it all. Can we all celebrate Emma's scholarship together? Jake asked, already envisioning the moment they would surround themselves with laughter and support, healing through joy. I'd love that, his mom said, her spirit brightening. And I'll be there beside you both, cheering her on. Jake felt the emotion swell, his heart full. The sun's glow filtering through the window caught his mother's eye, igniting a glow on her face, the beginning of the light he had longed for in their relationship. As he looked around the room, warmth washed over him, enveloping them in a tableau of transformation, a combination of healing breaths and new hope. They were no longer the individuals frozen by fear, but a family ready to weave dreams together, step into the light and face whatever came next. Jake placed his hand on his mother's, a gesture of unity. We're in this together. As if on cue, Emma's laughter suddenly rang out in his mind, a gentle reminder of their purpose. Let us get to work, he said, fueled by newfound determination. This is just the beginning. In each word spoken, in every bond rekindled, they felt renewed, ready to embrace the future, hand in hand. But this was not just a beginning, it was a rallying cry for all who had struggled to find their way home. Are you ready to embrace your own transformations? Subscribe immediately to the channel to not miss the next exclusive stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and support us. Comment your reactions and feelings about this ending, we want to hear from you. Share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. You need to subscribe now. This is the moment to show your support. Don't wait not even one more second to share.